Hello everybody, what is up? Today I will talk about The Last of Us. Very relevant topic, because the sequel is about to come out. Where's my water? It's coming out in 2 days on Friday. So it's Wednesday when we're recording this. It's kind of odd, like I was in town yesterday, just to, do some shopping, grocery shopping. And I saw some billboards and like posters and stuff for it. And I was like, damn, just seeing fucking posters for a video game, like advertising a video game, gives me a weird sense of like normalcy in this fucking crazy ass year that 2020 has been. Jesus, dude. But yeah, I guess that's beside the point. I'm gonna talk about Last of Us 2 a little bit as well, I think, about just like the discourse that just gonna say that before we get started, like the discourse that should not exist because the game isn't out yet, but there's discourse already because people are fucking dumb. I'll explain what I mean later, but like it should be obvious what I mean. So in preparation for the sequel, I played through the first game again for the first time in probably 7 years. Maybe closer to like 6.5. Because I know. Let me check when I think the PS4 version came out 2014. Oh my god, I got since the last recording that I did, I got a fucking mechanical keyboard. Is that not fucking awesome? Okay, yeah, it was July 2014, so like a year later, a year after the original, which makes sense, right? I mean, it was like it was a super late PS3 game, and a lot of people probably. They wanted to play it, but then they didn't have a PS3, so like, Naughty Dog and Sony, they just very quickly followed up. I guess what they should have done is like make the PS4 backwards compatible with PS3 games, but I guess that's beside the point. And I remember I had never actually played through the PS4 version. I played it like a little bit, I dabbled with it. I think actually, wait, no. I played through the multiplayer campaign on PS3, yeah. I guess that's why, that's why I feel like I actually played The Last of Us on PS3 for like a good amount of time. That's why it doesn't feel that long ago. Even though it was like, 6.5 years, like I said. Like I played like the intro and like the first hour or two on the PS4. But I never actually made time to replay it. But now I did. I was like, okay, there's no better time than now. I don't think The Last of Us is like 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I'll say my opinion of The Last of Us. I don't know. It's not really different from what I remember. It's not like my memories have not been betrayed. I wasn't really surprised by anything when I replayed it. Like, I guess it's more like I just have a little bit more clarity about the game, and also my tastes just have kind of changed over the last almost 7 years. I mean, it was never like in my top 25 or something. I'm not sure if I would put it like in the top 100 games, but like I might. It's still very good. I still like it a lot. There's still a lot of things that I appreciate about it. And there's still moments that hit me, but not quite as hard as they used to. And like, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I had played the game before, obviously, so like, of course, it wouldn't be as effective anymore. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. without saying anything concrete, but I guess it's just an odd feeling to describe when it's like, yeah, you know, I used to think this game was like really fucking good, like, you know, 9 out of 10 at least. And now even though my thoughts on like individual aspects haven't really changed, I don't feel that strongly about it anymore. I guess that's like the weird feeling I'm trying to convey. I think what adds to that a lot, like one of the main things that is responsible for this feeling, is that the game definitely gets better as it goes. It does not, like, obviously the intro is amazing. Everybody knows this, everybody I think agrees with this. I think it is a good showcase. Personally, I've gone on record saying this, but like, I think video games are a cool way to like explore a story in a way that you can't with other mediums. It doesn't really, like, you don't necessarily have to have like deep fucking branching choices or like super like crazy non-linearity, stuff like that. I don't think that's necessary to like vindicate a story through a video game, or having the story told through a video game. I think just having the story be delivered in a video game, period, can kind of justify itself. Even though that's not like my favorite thing about video games. To me, that's not like the highest thing a video game can achieve. Yeah, I still think that's cool, and I think the intro of The Last of Us just really shows that. Like, I was thinking, obviously the characters are their own people, and I think the ending, especially if The Last of Us shows this, right, drives that point home. But you're still embodying the characters, right? And you still want to immerse yourself in that role. And also, I should say, I'm gonna spoil everything, right? I'm gonna spoil fucking everything. So that was your warning. In case it wasn't obvious. Yeah. Like, it really frustrates me when people compare a game like The Last of Us and say like, yeah, if they put this exact story in a movie, it would not be impressive. That is missing the point so hard, because, see, when I try to defend it, people will think that I'm saying that we can't judge games by movie standards. It's not about, like, and I said this on Let's Argue as well. I made a Let's Argue episode where I talked about The Last of Us, and I said the exact same thing, right? Where, like, it's not about quality standards, it's just that the requirements or the goals, the goals for like a video game story and a movie story are just completely different, right? That's why actually I think sometimes it's actually better when a video game story is a little simpler, because it lets you, because the player always needs to embody the characters to some degree, right? So when the story is a little bit simpler, it lets you do that more easily. And like, it's just the events are so much more impactful because you have a much more direct connection to what's happening, yeah? I guess I'm saying really obvious stuff right now, but like, I think it bears repeating. So yeah, intro was great. Really well done. I remember like people talking about just the animations, like when you're with Sarah in the car and the way she like moves and looks around, like that's still so next level. And I think it's worth it. Like it puts you inside the situation like more than it would have otherwise, you know, if they hadn't put that much effort into it. The problem is that the next maybe 2 or 3 hours after that are like a little bit slow, but also they lack a little bit of polish, I think. I feel like just graphically, the game looks a lot better the more it goes on, right? I think once you leave Bill's town, that's where the game really starts for me, you know? It feels like, see, it's interesting because that's the part, like, just after you leave Bill's town, the part with the hotel and everything, that's the part they showed at E3. I would assume that's probably, like that has been, or that had been, their, sort of their vertical slice demo that they always showed, like, to higher-ups, stuff like that, to pitch the game. Those kinds of purposes, right? Because it really feels like a perfect showcase for everything the game is doing, right? And it feels like the most polished part of the game as a result. And yeah, that's where the game, like, just with the lighting and the way it hits the buildings and the way the scenery is, like, always staged, it looks so fucking cool and, like, it makes you want to explore. Whereas, like, Bill's town is kind of ugly. Just the stretch before that has a lot of really drab-looking parts. And, like, it introduces you to the different possible, like, combat scenarios and, like, the different mechanics very slowly. I think it does it better than, like, and I've talked about this on Twitter a lot lately, like, it does better than a lot of other comparable AAA games, and a lot more elegantly. There's maybe, like, 1 or 2 pop-up tutorials in the whole game, where it, like, stops you and says, okay, this is really fucking important, please don't forget this. Like, where, for example, it explains clickers and stuff. Makes sense, right? Because the clickers are the most dangerous enemy. I think the problem is just you don't really see what's great about the game until after you leave Bill's town. Because to me, the combat is at its best when you're fighting human opponents. And I know some people disagree with me on this. Like, some people, I've heard people say that they prefer fighting the infected. I don't know if I agree. Because to me, what's the most sort of interesting and special about The Last of Us, and something that I haven't quite gotten out of other games, is the way it flows between combat and stealth. I think because, like, the technology in The Last of Us is obviously because the pandemic had been going on for 20 years by the point that we started the game, where that we, you know, take proper control of Joel. The tech is so primitive now, and, like, so, I guess rudimentary is the better word, yeah. Rudimentary, and, like, everything's so scrappy, and, even just tracking your opponent is very difficult. You're fighting these bandits, right? And, like, they're not as organized as they would be in, like, a game like fucking Splinter Cell or even Metal Gear, right? So that's why I always loved the fact that, like, a single guy can see you, and you can kill that guy and then hide, and the rest, they will know something happened, but they won't know where you are, right? It feels very organic. I had this, like, one very specific moment where, you know, a guy saw me, and I ran around the corner, and then it felt very natural the way he lost track of me, you know? It made me think of, in Splinter Cell, Conviction, and Blacklist. I know those are very controversial games. I'm not, like, a big Splinter Cell fan, so, like, I don't really have a strong opinion on them. Also, let me check the audio real quick. I feel like I popped the mic a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's fine. False alarm. She's a false alarm! Yeah, in those games, in Blacklist and Conviction, when you move out of sight, you have this, like, silhouette that represents your last known position to the enemy. And in those games, it feels very gamey and goofy, the way they sort of congregate around your fucking ghost silhouette. In Last of Us, you can tell, like, there's a similar thing happening, but it's a lot more natural. Like, the enemy will sort of, when you walk around a corner, they will follow the path that you have likely taken in a pretty natural way. I still think the way the enemies talk to each other feels very natural, and also, they just do impressive things sometimes, where they will hide to ambush you. They will, like, move to a location, like, specifically move out of your view so that they can surprise you later. It's pretty impressive, and, like, I can't think of another game where I've seen this kind of thing, and also I can't think of a game where that would even be possible, you know, because of what I just said, right? The fights are so scrappy and like rudimentary, and you have this like sense that everyone is like scrounging for resources and like struggling a lot. Like, there isn't really another game where that kind of combat would make sense, you know, where that kind of behavior from the enemies would make sense. Fuck, there was something else I wanted to say about enemy behavior. Oh yeah, I love as well that the Molotov guys, they actually telegraph their throws. They actually always have some kind of distinct audio cue, and that's like something that's not like common at all with third-person shooters, especially. Yeah, it's such a weird thing. So like, it was impressive to me because I played the game on Survivor this time. That was my first time playing that difficulty. I remember when I played on PS3, I played on hard the first time. I thought it was like decently challenging, and then I also played New Game Plus on hard. But this was my first time playing Survivor, and like, number one, the game was not that difficult. I definitely think it was, like, there were some sections later where I definitely needed a couple tries. The stuff before that I deliberately retried a couple times to figure out an optimal way, you know, to get through. Which was kind of unnecessary because the game's still pretty generous with resources, and like, but still not so generous that that the impact feels diminished, you know. I still like, you get so excited when you get like 6 shotgun rounds. That's like the best fucking feeling. Oh my god. But yeah, the big thing is like, you have this listen mode where you hold R1 and then you see where the enemies are. Basically, it's like, oh, Joel is like concentrating his hearing, and it's represented visually through the walls and stuff. It's kind of goofy, and like, clearly they did it because they felt like you needed that extra information, right, to be able to combat the enemies. But honestly, on Survivor, it's turned off, and like, I didn't feel like you needed it at all. Like, I didn't feel handicapped whatsoever. I feel like the environments are so well designed, and like, just like the way everything is, like, I'm doing like weird hand gestures right now, you can't see them, but like the ways everything is built, like on corners and like blind spots and all this stuff, you can progress very cautiously and actually like, keep a great mental map of where the enemies might be in your head. And the one crutch that there is that Ellie will tell you, oh, there's a guy on your left sometimes, you know. But that feels fine. It feels organic. It feels justified. It feels helpful. It feels, you know, it does not feel cheap. So I think like that aspect is really fucking impressive. It speaks to just how, you know, the, like, everything, like, the enemy AI is very goofy. It will do goofy, unrealistic things that that kind of take you out of the moment, and that will and I mean, the same is true with the partner AI as well. But the enemy specifically, you can definitely cheese them into doing dumb things, and like, it feels kind of cheap. But like, the design, like, that's programming and technical stuff, right? I remember Bruce Straley, who was the game director on The Last of Us, who has since left Naughty Dog. I remember him going to record saying, yeah, AI was the hardest thing, because obviously you're so limited with memory. It was so fucking hard to put in the AI that we wanted. You can definitely feel that. You can definitely feel those limitations, and it kind of sucks, because obviously they had that first demo where the AI was just amazing, right? And everything looked so fucking natural and like perfect. And like, that's why I'm so curious about Last of Us 2, because are they actually gonna pull it off in that game? Like, holy shit if they do. But still, those tech issues aside, the AI is well designed. You know, it's like designed so that you can work with it and that you get an interesting experience. I definitely had the thing happen where the Molotov guys try to throw, and then the Molotov cocktail will just disappear in their hand. It's very odd. But yeah, AI is well designed, levels are well designed, resources and guns are really well balanced. Like, it's weird how just the gunplay and the aiming in general in Last of Us feels like such a step up from the Uncharted games, like the first Uncharted trilogy. And obviously then Uncharted 4 was even better. But yeah, like in Last of Us, like the aiming was, I was like really shocked when I played it again, just how smooth and natural the aiming felt. And like the sound design for the guns is amazing. Like just the kick you get from the shotgun, and fuck dude, it's like it makes you kind of wish just a mode where you could run around and just kill enemies with the shotgun, because it's so fucking satisfying. But obviously that's not what the game is about. It's like, dude, I'm being kind of a disgusting gore fiend right now. I get it. Like, I guess you could argue, yeah, you know, shooting a guy in the face in this game should not feel awesome, but like it does. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the problem. I'm trying to pause again, but my fucking cursor's on the notepad because I actually made some notes this time. What the fuck? Okay, let me pause. Okay, I'm back. So that's all good. That's all great. I will say, the game is a little bit janky. It's a little bit janky. I definitely had it happen to me that I was hitting a guy. I hit the first time, right? I hit the first part of my melee combo, and then at some point he will just teleport out of my combo. Like I keep mashing square, and the subsequent hits will not get the guy, right? Like I understand. For example, when people there's this guy that I follow, Doc Burford, I don't know. He made Paratopic. He's an indie game dev and like a writer and stuff. Cool guy, you should follow him. But like he recorded, like he showed footage of himself trying to play Uncharted 2 and like failing to sneak up on guys and stuff. And it's like, I can see, the thing is, in those situations, it's not really jank, because I can tell exactly what he did wrong, right? Like there's, with Drake, when he, like let's say an enemy is on one side of the, you know, of the wall, and then Drake is on the other side of the wall, and then I sneak up behind the enemy, Drake will like do a little animation when he's in the correct sort of spot, right? And if you then press square, you will do the kill. Whereas if you press square too early or too late, you will just punch the air and it will not work. So you could argue the kind of the tracking and like the zones, how it all works, is a little bit too strict. Or that those rules are not exactly transparent or a little too awkward, I don't know. You could argue all of that, but it is consistent and it's not janky. You know, I would not call it jank. But like, in Last of Us, and maybe it's the remaster, I don't know, but like, I straight up have moments where, you know, a thing works for a little bit, and then it stops working, and then I just get shot, you know? That definitely happened to me. And it's kind of odd. I definitely did not remember it being like that, you know, on the PS3. Like, that's when people say, oh, it's janky, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, so maybe it is the remaster, I don't know. Do I still have the PS2 version? I probably do. Wait. It should be on that shelf. Yes, it is! Right next to my copy of Dark Souls, and also Resident Evil 5. Those are all like my obsolete PS3 games. I have like an extra shelf for like games that I'm not gonna play again, because they have like better ports or something. Actually, Dark Souls low-key does not have a better port. So maybe I should well, yeah, I can just play on the Xbox, I guess. What's my next topic? Yeah, I guess the thing I mean, I already stressed, like, yeah, like, the way you flow between combat itself, that's really the game's greatest asset, sort of mechanically, right? It feels very organic and dynamic, and that's great. I love that. And I'd say the pacing of the game is, like, very natural and very, impactful and very good. Yeah, those are the words I would use to describe the pacing. Good. Like, whenever Joel is, like, separated from, you know, you're always alongside some other character, be it Ellie or later Henry and Sam, or Tess at the start. But whenever you're separated, it feels impactful. You know, it feels like, oh shit, something went wrong, and now I have to, like, you instantly have this, like, worry, like, oh fuck, what the hell is gonna happen, you know, to Ellie or to me. Obviously it's not gonna work as well this time because I've already played it before, but so I know nothing's gonna happen. But yeah, and I definitely I'll say I'm curious how they're gonna handle exploration in Last of Us 2. I gotta be honest, I did not enjoy exploring in Uncharted 4. Like, there was, like, some opportunities to just run around and explore and stuff, but, like, it felt so pointless, and I felt like there was so much walking already anyway. Walking and, like, fucking climbing and stuff. Just the balance between walking and shooting was not really there in Uncharted 4 for me. And that's why I was inherently, and because it's not like a resource-heavy game, you know, I was inherently not that interested in exploring. So that makes me kind of worry for Uncharted, Last of Us 2. Sorry. Actually, see, I was gonna add, I really enjoyed Lost Legacy. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, the fucking standalone spin-off game. And now I'm wondering who the fuck directed that. Yeah, it's not Neil Druckmann. It's not that dude. So, So maybe that is a cause for concern. Like, I thought, oh, Lost Legacy was a lot better than Uncharted 4, so maybe I shouldn't be worried about Last of Us 2. That was the thing, like, when I first played Last of Us 2, I was like, Last of Us 1, sorry. When I first played Last of Us 1, I was like, yeah, this game is a little bit slow. I'm not really, like, I love this game generally, but it's a little bit slow. You know, it could be a little bit better. There could be a little bit less fucking propping up ladders and boosting people up fucking ledges and stuff. There could be a little bit less of that. And then I played Uncharted 4, and was that problem, but like times 100. Yeah, it's Neil Druckmann, Bruce Straley. Interesting. It's Uncharted 4. And then I was like, Last of Us 2, I don't know, dude. Like, maybe it's gonna be more like Uncharted 4. Like, I don't want that. And then I played Lost Legacy, and I was like, huh, maybe not. Maybe it's fine. Maybe that was just the exception, you know? Also, yeah, Uncharted 3 had, like, a similar issue. Maybe it's just an Uncharted thing. Maybe it's not a Last of Us thing. We don't, I mean, yeah. We just don't know. I guess I'm just thinking Last of Us 2 probably gonna be pretty open, like pretty wide environments, right? And since it's still exploratory and they can just put enemies anywhere, right? Because it's a survival game, it's not like an Uncharted. I think it's gonna be fine. I hope it's gonna be fine, yeah. Because I'll say, yeah, the slower parts of The Last of Us 1 definitely bothered me less than they used to this time. And I think maybe it's because I was less worried about, like, exploring every nook and cranny and, like, getting all the resources. Because the game is generous enough with resources, you don't really have to worry about that. Like, it's not generous, but like it's generous enough that you can that you're not gonna get stuck and stuff. Well, I mean, you might if you're really bad at games, but I don't know. Wait, where's the? Let me look at the Last of Us Wikipedia page. Okay. Yeah. I think honestly, that's everything I wanted to talk about, like, mechanically and stuff. I guess I'll say, this whole, like, just debates around whether or not Joel is, like, a bad guy are so fucking silly, because he is, like, it's so fucking obvious from, like, after the half-hour mark, where you've completed the intro, right? After that point, it's so obvious that he's, like, clearly a very disturbed, and, like, cruel person, you know? That he's willing to do very cruel shit. It's, like, heavily implied he's killed innocent people and stuff. And that just killing someone, torturing someone, that's so second nature for him at that point. Like, it's the game, like, clearly it's the whole point of the game, right? That they're not even trying to hide it, you know? And then when he obviously kills all his dudes in the end and, like, basically dooms the human race and stuff, like, does that not feel natural? Does that not feel like something that this person would do? You know, I don't know. See, it looks like I popped the mic again. Let me check. I think I'm just paranoid because it sounds fine. Yeah. I have that's the thing. I put my gain. Like, lately, I've been putting the gain a little bit higher on the mic because I realized, yeah, I just put it way too low because I can do like ah, and it doesn't go red. Yeah. Ah! See. Okay, sorry about that. Ah! So, oh, that was red. That was red for sure. Yeah. Let me listen to that. But no, it sounds fine. It sounds okay. So, I don't know. Yeah. So, obviously, that was the whole point, right? That he starts as this, like, really cruel, brutal person, and then it's interesting because, so Ellie is, like, super cheerful, and, like, I mean, multiple characters in the game say, like, oh, she doesn't seem, like, really affected by this. She seems to have, like, maintained kind of her humanity and stuff, and, like, her positive outlook on life. So that's cool. But then both characters, they go through, like, an inverse, like, development, you know, where Joel softens up over the course of the game, right? And, kind of finds a reason to be happy again and, like, to, you know, what he's saying, like, to keep fighting, and to keep surviving. Was Ellie, like, after you kill David, once you get to the spring part of the game, she's, like, so dejected and detached and, like, clearly, like, overcome by her feelings of guilt and stuff. And, like, I love that, obviously, people have pointed this out in the past already, but, like, this thing where when you start playing as Sarah, you have the car, you get in the car with Joel and Tommy, and then the car stops, and then you transition to Joel, and then you play for Joel for most of the game, for the vast majority of the game, you play as Joel. And then, oh yeah, and then when you first get out of the car, you hold Sarah in your arms, and then she dies, obviously. And then you, like I said, you play as Joel for most of the rest of the game. Then you get in the car with Ellie, the car stops, and then you play as Ellie for the final stretch. Like, I feel like it's not just a cute thing that they do, you know? Like, oh, it mirrors the start of the game. It's also, it shows we've come full circle with the characters, you know? Like, that Joel is, like, a little bit closer to his old fatherly self. But also in the process, he, like, betrayed Ellie's trust and, like, just did something really horrible, you know? And Ellie can feel it, and that's why she's upset. So that's kind of brilliant if you think about it. Like, just the way they make you feel it through, you know, the game. I think it's pretty fucking cool. I guess I want to say, I do want to add, and I hope this doesn't sound like I'm defending a psychotic murderer, and I hate saying but I do think the situation is, like, a little bit more complex than people often paint it to be. Like, you have to consider a couple things with the Fireflies. Number one, they took Ellie, without telling her what happened, right? Without telling her what is going to happen. They didn't inform her that they were going to do this, blah, blah. And, like, I mean, over the course of the game, you see, yeah, the Fireflies are not exactly, like, saints, right? So that's true. And then the organization is just so in shambles, and I think I remember seeing, like, an interview with Neil and Bruce, and they both said, yeah, like, at this point in the pandemic, and with how the Fireflies are, even if the operation is successful, even if they can create a vaccine, which is already unlikely, or, like, not clear if that's possible, right? Just, like, do we even have the infrastructure to, you know, spread the vaccine and stuff? Or, like, for it to have any kind of significant impact, you know? Is that even possible? Like, let's run the simulation in our head. Like, you could make sure, like, because it's the Fireflies, and because it's, like, obviously just the tech is so rudimentary and so primitive now. Like, what are the quantities that you can produce the vaccine at? Like, that's the first question. If they're not very high, you would have to assume that, oh, okay, the Fireflies are gonna monopolize them, or, like, sell them, or whatever, or, like, use it to have leverage over, different communities and stuff. And clearly, you know, I don't know if the Fireflies are someone that I want to trust with that. Like, considering the game starts literally with them attacking, like, a city, you know, they attack Boston at the start of the game. Clearly they have no high regard for, like, innocent lives and stuff. So that's true. And then obviously people would fight over the vaccine, and maybe it would cause even more turmoil. Like, there's already, like, we're 20 years into the pandemic. Like, there's some kind of order and structure, and still people are unhappy. They have reasons to leave the cities. They have reasons to fight over resources. That's just the vaccine is one more thing to fight over, you know? Obviously I'm not saying having a vaccine would be worse than not having it. I'm just saying this potential scenario, like, humanity would not be safe just by having the vaccine, you know? It's a little bit more complicated. But then let's assume we have enough of the vaccine to spread around, and to, like, you know, to make everyone immune to the virus. You would still have to, you know, kill all of the infected that we have right now. And, that seems like a bit of an impossible task. Because obviously if they don't infect you with the virus, they will just kill you instantly, you know? That's actually more likely that you die instantly rather than become infected. Again, 20 years. do they say like how much of the population has been wiped out by that point? I don't know. Interesting. But yeah, that's another problem, right? Like, would the vaccine even help that much, even if like, would it even help that much if everyone became immune now? Probably not that much, you know? Like, the reason, like that's the thing, like, for the majority of the game, you're fighting other humans, right? Everyone being immune would not make the struggle for resources go away. You know? It would not automatically save the whole planet. I don't know, man. Like, something... I guess the vaccine, it could be a step toward the direction, you know, that something positive could happen. Something positive could change. But I don't even know if it would be a necessary step. You know? I think it's more important that people, like, organize. And, like... I guess... fuck. I actually do sound like what Joel did was okay. No, obviously not. Like, I guess in the grand scheme of things... Ellie sacrificing herself... Maybe I should put the gain down just a little bit. Ellie sacrificing herself for the vaccine. That probably would have been better. That probably would be ideal. But I guess the final point I want to make about this is that obviously a fucking 14-year-old should not have to make that choice. Like, the fate of humanity should not rest on the shoulders of a 14-year-old, and that's what makes the whole situation so unfair. It kind of reminds me of, like, Evangelion or something, you know? It's actually the same exact concept, yeah, where obviously Shinji needs to get in the fucking robot, but he shouldn't have to, right? And that's why we can understand attempts to not force him to go in the robot, you know? We can show some, like, sympathy for that. I'm not saying Joel deserves sympathy at all. He does not, right? He clearly does not. Yeah. I guess really that's the only thing I'm saying. It's like a tiny bit more complicated, you know? When people say like it's I don't know. I guess my beef is more... What the fuck is my beef even? I can't remember, like, the specific comments that I saw that, like, upset me. Because obviously it's true, Joel is a monster and what he did was wrong, right? And I'm not sure, that's the thing, I'm not sure if I've actually seen people paint the Fireflies as, like, the good dudes or something. Yeah. Maybe I'm getting upset over nothing right now. I'm, like, thinking about, like, what the fuck arguments have I seen from people to, like, make it sound like the Fireflies are, like, the good guys? And it's not, I don't want to make it sound like a both sides are bad thing. It's not like that, right? It's not like that. But, yeah. Whatever, man. I don't know. Dude, we're already 45 minutes in. Holy shit. I guess the final thing I'll say is like oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the Last of Us 2 discourse, yeah. It's so fucking dumb because, like, I've legit seen people go over, like, have, like, a whole chain of arguments about, like, the scene where you kill a dog or something, right? There's a scene, spoilers, there's a scene apparently where you kill a dog. And then later, they show flashback of the dog's owner or something, right? And that's kind of all we know. And then people argue about it and they say, well, I haven't played the game, so I don't really know, but it sounds really bad. It sounds really edgy. And it's like, you literally just spelled out the problem, right? you cannot, you are completely aware that you can't actually judge it properly out of context, but you're still doing it. It's so fucking dumb. Ugh. And it's like, that's the thing. You over the course of this podcast thing, hopefully you've realized I do have some like doubts and misgivings and like whatever about the fucking Naughty Dog and like the series, and just I have problems with those games. I'm not like a stan for those games, but just like, it's not like I need to defend them because I'm like a stan or something, or because whatever. It's just seeing people being dumb on the internet upsets me. Dude, I can't even put into words how upsetting it is. Yeah. And that's why I've been going on all these rants, you know, not because I felt like, oh, I'm a stan, I need to defend those games. No, it's just because, oh, people are so fucking stupid. It's not even funny. Yeah. Like, and see, there was a specific tweet, and I already talked about it, but like, this person compared it to compared The Last of Us 2 to Shadow of the Colossus, and it's like, and like, I saw multiple people retweet it like it was a smart tweet, even though you can't fucking make that comparison, because literally, we've all played Shadow of the Colossus, whereas we have not played Last of Us 2. There might be like a super great explanation for why Last of Us 2 is like the way it is. And like, I hate this like, oh fuck dude, I saw people say like, you can be fucking profound without resorting to violence, you know, that, and then we list all these games that are like non-violent. It's like, yeah, okay, but also, aren't you like, isn't that like a hypocritical argument, because you're saying, like, you're vouching for artistic freedom, right? You're vouching for like, no, you're vouching for artistic diversity, right? You're vouching for diversity, like, oh, not every game needs to be violent, blah, blah, blah. Great, I understand you, but, why the fuck does that mean in consequence that no game can be violent? You know, because, like, that's kind of what you're saying. We have one super violent game that, like, that takes things really far, and then people start complaining about it. Like people say it like as if it were a trend or something, but it's not. Like, it's not a common thing for a game to go this far in, like, I don't know, whatever the fuck Last of Us 2 is doing, you know, like, making you feel bad, have really, you know, upsetting characters, upsetting plot points. We don't have a game like that every day. And then when one comes along, it's like, maybe you shouldn't resort to violence, you know? Fuck off. So stupid. Like, I love non-violent games. There's a lot of non-violent games that are, like, my favorites, right? Or, like, yeah, you know? But it's just, I feel like people are not checking themselves when they say that. They're like, not every game has to be violent, but also not every game has to be non-violent, right? Like, should that not be obvious? Should that not be fucking obvious? I don't know. And like, just like, man, just, when people paint Naughty Dog as like the propagator of fucking slow walking and shallow gameplay and like the AAA disease and all this shit, right? When people paint Naughty Dog as the cause for all this shit, it's so upsetting to me, because they're literally still the best at it. They're still the most elegant at it. My overwhelming impression with Last of Us when I replayed it, and I guess I'll end on that note, I think that's a great note to end on, is that it actually respected my intelligence. It actually respected my intelligence. It actually respected my intelligence. It trusted me to put things together organically, you know? It gave me tools, and it didn't ham-fistedly say, oh, this is what you're supposed to do in this fucking situation. No, it's like, I'm in a situation, environments are relatively open, and I can do a lot of things. I realized that again in like the final stretch of the game with the hospital, you know? Like, that really feels like a final test of your skills and like a final sort of test bed for all your abilities and all the shit you can do. Most AAA games are not like that. Like, think of another AAA game that does not use objective markers whatsoever. Even fucking Zelda has objective markers. You know, Breath of the Wild is like one of my favorite games. Better the game than Last of Us, right? But even Breath of the Wild has objective markers, yeah. In an open world game, it's like a little more justifiable, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but... I think, no, I mean, I think Breath of the Wild, yeah, you should just set your own objective markers, but then not have any for the quests. That would be ideal, right? You should just figure out where the quest is approximately from dialogue and stuff. But yeah, Naughty Dog, they actually make AAA games that don't, like, there's not a single Naughty Dog game that ever used, like, an objective marker. I'm pretty sure that Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy did not have objective markers. Maybe I'm wrong. On this doubtful note, I will end this fucking recording. Oh my god, 50 minutes, 51 minutes. Bug. I'm gonna record 2 more videos soon. Holy shit. I'm excited. I have a lot of great topics this month, yeah. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about, like, Last of Us and maybe Last of Us 2 once you play it. Are you interested? Are you excited? Do you like Naughty Dog? Do you think people are stupid? Do you think I'm stupid? Let me know if you think I'm stupid. Give me all your money. Peace. Fucking press the wrong button again. Okay, peace.